I will now invite Virginia to introduce our next speakers. Virginia, over to you.
Thank you again to our 5 presenters and to you, Jennifer, as our very versatile game show host. Nice added switch up challenge to the Kahoots to have everyone retain the info in their brains to the end of the 5th talk. Well done all. If you're joining us now, please click on the Sponsor Talk virtual space. You can find the session by clicking on the box on the left navigation menu on your screen. It's now my pleasure to introduce Michael Ames, Senior Director of Healthcare and Life Sciences at SADA, our bronze partner today. Michael has spent over 20 years building systems and teams that manage and analyze healthcare data. He holds degrees in business and biomedical informatics. He's been a leader in startups, major multinationals, and academia. He will give us a presentation to us entitled Hands-on Application of Sky-High Technology, How Biometrics and AI Combine to Improve Child Health Outcomes. Welcome, Michael.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Virginia, can you hear me?
Yes, brilliantly. You're good.
I love it when the technology works. It's really great to be here with everybody. In a minute, I'm going to share my screen and we'll go through some slides, but I wanted to see your faces and you see mine for a minute while I introduce. So as Virginia said, Michael Ames, Senior Director of Healthcare and Life Sciences at SADA. SADA is a Google Cloud consultancy, but I come from a background in academic medical with about 10 years in helping to develop systems and processes on the campus of the University of Colorado, working closely with Children's Hospital Colorado and UC Health, supporting a wide variety of research initiatives. Recently made a switch into the commercial sector in order to help other organizations benefit from technology and things to solve these same problems, but my heart is still very much with the academics. And so I have a lot of respect for the greater good nature of this symposium and don't want to get in the way of that. So I'm going to be mostly not pitching anything, but hopefully talking about a couple of products and ideas and concepts that might be useful. And when I do get to the point where I look like I'm selling something, I'm going to let you know when that happens, so you can clearly distinguish those couple of things. We are working with BRI and we're a sponsor of the program. And I now in my current role advise many research teams and organizations, commercial and nonprofit, in how to use technology to tackle the problems that they're trying to solve. Excellent. Okay, and it looks like someone else is going to control the slide, so that's okay. I'll just tell you when to tap forward. I'm so sorry about the technical difficulties. Let's move to the next slide. All right, let's move one more slide forward. You're going to have to click through because unfortunately Zoom isn't streaming my little video. Oh, you guys, I had the most amazing video to show you. We're going to start because I want to talk about the way that biometrics and machine learning combine to solve a whole bunch of problems. And that means needing a little bit of a basic understanding about what we're talking about with machine learning. It's one of those things that a lot of people nod their heads like they know what it is, when in reality, it turns out that they don't. We need that common language. So we go forward one more slide until we get to the point with the picture. If this had worked properly, and I'm so sorry it didn't, you'd be seeing this great video of my cat and my dog. When our dog was just a puppy about a year ago, playing together on the staircase there. And there is a thing that happens kind of magically in the human brain when somebody watches this. You'll know, without even thinking about it or thinking about how you know, which one of these is a cat and which is a dog. But if you think about kind of how amazing that is, there's a lot of special stuff happening in that, because if you look at these two, they're about the same size. They're both pretty furry. They both have 4 legs and noses. One of them has a tail and one doesn't, but that's not really an indicator of what's a dog or not. And so how is it that we know and understand this? There's a natural process of learning that occurs in the human mind, which simply has to do with the idea of observation and affirmation. When a child is out at the park and they're very young and there's a dog nearby, they'll point to it and the parent will say that's a dog, but later they might see a cat and they might look at that and say, there's a dog, but the parent will say, no, that's a kitty. And they probably don't take time to explain why. Oh, that's a kitty because look at the unique shape of the snout. Look at the pointier ears. That's what makes it a kitty. We simply tell the brain, this is what this is, and this is what that is. And over time, our brain miraculously learns how to tease those things apart. that when we hear the term artificial intelligence, the idea is learning to create computer systems that are able to do that kind of judgmental, working in fuzzy space, making decisions about what is what, but to do it with computer minds instead of biological minds. Go ahead and click forward one. The question is, can we create a formula that would actually tell these apart? We can, and we're going to back up and explain a little bit about how this works. So some of you might have seen a problem like this in 7th or 8th grade algebra. Let's go back to the next slide, please. Where you get a table and you say when X is 1, 2, 3, and 4, and Y is these things, 1, 4, 9, and 16. Click for me. The question is, what is that formula? Go ahead and click forward a few times for me. The answer, as many of you have already come up with, is X squared. Now, how did you do that? Just using your brain without even really thinking about it. You saw a pattern and you were able to come up with a formula, which we're going to use as a basic idea for our machine learning model. This is a thing that if you plug inputs into the left side, you get outputs that follow the pattern that we want. In this case, just squaring the numbers. Pretty easy, straightforward. We all passed algebra. Please click a few times forward and we'll go to the next slide. Because what happens if the problem that you want to solve is actually much more complicated than that? So take this problem. We've got a terabyte of heartbeat data from the last 2 months of a patient. And what you want to do is find out the types of arrhythmias that the patient is experiencing. To do that at scale and to not have to have that answer solved by having a cardiologist looking over all of that data every time for every patient, we want to be able to create an algorithm that does that same thing as we did with X squared that says, okay, if we put this kind of data in the left, we're going to get this predictable thing in the right. Let's look at how that works on the next slide. You can move us forward. Thank you. Yeah, this is going to blow your brain, right? If you try to do this in your head, it's not going to happen. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, so here's the same pattern that we're looking at. And this is how machine learning works. It's a lot like what we did with X squared, just a lot more complicated. On the left side, we've got some different types of patterns from an EKG. And then on the right side, we're looking for a particular type of arrhythmia. Let's say it's an LQTS classified arrhythmia. Just like parents telling their children, this is a dog, this is a cat, as they're learning, and then the brain automatically makes those associations. We're going to start by labeling hundreds, maybe thousands of different EKG patterns manually. This is a human effort to say that this is LQTS, this is not, and we label those. Then we feed those instead of into brains into really powerful computers with lots of crazy math. And if you'll click forward one more time, we end up with this incomprehensibly complex statistically model. It's so far beyond X squared. It's the kind of thing where if we were to write it out as a mathematical formula, it would probably be hundreds or thousands of pages long. But in the end, it gives us the same ability to make kind of statistical and judgment-based decisions on what is what, which then allows us to scale out that kind of logic with computers to be able to apply this kind of decision-making to many, many more patients at a time. Let's go forward. On to the next slide. So I want to highlight a couple of organizations and products that are using this in interesting ways that are relevant for both adult and pediatric care. And both of these are just sort of emblematic of the types of work that are going on. So in the biometric space, here's a company called PeerBridge with a product called Core. It's basically a wearable EKG. It's a multi-lead EKG that just sticks on the patient. It's very unintrusive. They can wear it for a week or two. It's going to gather that data that looks like those signals that we looked at in the previous slide. They've developed using ML, one of these incomprehensibly complex statistical models that processes it and then can do some amazing things. Out of a couple of weeks of wearing this, it can classify and provide back to the patient's doctor over 30 different arrhythmias by classification with clarity, and this has been approved by regulatory agencies. Far more effective than single lead products. I'm going to show you something more like a single lead product in a minute, meaning a simpler product that's more like a comparable device. And ultimately, a product like this is going to lead to greatly improved patient experience and compliance. So in addition to getting the data that you need, the fact that we're able to use artificial intelligence to extract these patterns from a really simple wearable device has a direct impact on the patient experience, on the doctor experience, and on the outcomes that we get from it. But it doesn't have to be a specifically built device. If we go to the next slide, then we'll see here an example of another one. And this one touches me deeply. I share this example because I think it has, it's a thing that impacts many of us. This organization, Opioid, has technology that works from consumer wearable devices, something like a Fitbit or an Apple Watch or something else that you might wear that is collecting biometrics from your body, and then again, running it into this machine learning trained, incomprehensibly complex statistical model. But here's what it's doing. It's designed for the use in conjunction with medically assisted treatment for opioid addiction recovery. And the magic that it can do is signal back to a care provider when the person who is wearing it is experiencing withdrawal symptoms. And it can do it before that person is even themselves aware that they're experiencing those symptoms. And if we think about the great interventions that we have for somebody who is trying to go clean from opioids, we can do a lot for somebody if we know that they're about to have a problem. But if we don't know, it can be too late. It can lead to overdose and death. So this person is wearing something on their watch because they have a desire to change, but they're about to fall victim to their own bodily challenges and difficulties with this disease. And suddenly their doctor or care provider is going to get a note saying this person needs a phone call, they need their support system in place, they need their medications, and we can literally save lives in a timely way. And this use of technology toward helping people who are in most need of it in a severe problem right now is one of the things that really inspires me with the work that we're doing. Let's go forward another slide. So I want to talk just a little bit about some of the technologies here that come into play that are helping to enable this. The first of these, everyone here who is in the biomedical research space should go take a look at Terra.bio. The Broad Institute is a customer of ours. We work with them on a wide variety of issues to help enable their many research teams with technology and tools that they need to get their work done. Terra is a free product though, and what it is it's a wrapper around Google Cloud, and these cloud platforms are big, broad, technical things that can do everything from help analyze a genome to hosting Pokemon Go, right? And so you could imagine there's probably more there than a medical research team might need. Think of Terra as a wrapper around that technology that is focused on helping biomedical teams drive to the answers that they need sooner in team environments and distributed environments, with a lot of focusing on data sharing and getting the tools that you need on the cloud and reproducibility of research. Two things here, and here's where I'm going to tag that, if you hit these QR codes and you end up making me a phone call here, there's going to be a financial benefit. So this is the sales pitch piece, but these are two things that I believe sincerely have meaningful effect on organizations doing this kind of work. One is Vertex AI, which is Google Cloud's entire platform for ML and AI lifecycle management. So instead of this business of doing some of your work on laptops and then trying to figure out before we validate this, we need to get it to the cloud and everything's going to change and how do we maintain it up there, takes Google's own thinking about how they manage ML and AI in the cloud and puts it onto a single platform in a really exciting and easy to use way. And then the last is AutoML, which is a broad category of technologies, but also a specific Google product that is designed to help you develop ML and AI models with a minimum of coding. Now, this does not replace bioinformaticists, it does not replace data scientists, but what it does is it gives those people and other folks who maybe don't have the same level of technical ability, but a good understanding of data, the ability to quickly develop models and prototypes of models, quickly test hypotheses before digging in deeper to build the stronger, more robust models that'll take a little bit more technical skill set. And we find that all of these things work together to accelerate research and discovery, which is really what our objective is with all of this. So I'm going to stop there. If you don't mind advancing to the last slide with the big QR code on it, you can skip this next one. This is me, and it's been a pleasure and an honor to be with you here today. Would love it if you found me on LinkedIn and connected, and we can carry on the conversation. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Thank you, and I hope the rest of the conference goes smoother than that did.
Thank you so much, Michael. I'm really happy that we were able to get things connected for you, and really informative, clear presentation on this complex leading edge topic, and really value your experience on the child healthcare side of things as well. Really exciting transformations in AI as well that will really support these real-time client provider interactions and give us a lot more sophisticated understanding of data, with obviously the ultimate priority goal of improving child and family outcomes. So thank you again very much.
Thank you, Virginia.